All right, so back when I first started working on this podcast and looked ahead for the month of October, I found that October 14th had only 2 days. There was like Maha Navami, which is like an Indian holiday, and then National Dessert Day, and that was it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to talk for like 20 minutes about different desserts because I'll have to fill out the time somehow. But miraculously, now there are a total of five different holidays on this website. So now I can probably just give the little fun dessert tips and tricks that I have and just random knowledge that's in my head. And that'll be how that goes. And it'll just work out fine. So yeah, I'm going to save that one for like the end of going through the holidays though, so that we can push through the others and then have some dessert related entertainment. All right. Roll that intro, Peter. So hello. I don't know what that was. Hello. That's my new way to address the audience. My name is Noah Mandow, and welcome to the National Holiday Podcast, episode 15. Woo! On to week 3 of this daily podcast. So first up, gonna jump right into it. We got Be Bald and Be Free Day. We're here to show you how to celebrate this day in style, not in hairstyle though. There are millions of people who are affected by baldness, either due to natural causes or medical treatments, which is why this day is dedicated to the bald and the beautiful. Are they bald and beautiful? Because the way that it says the bald and the beautiful makes it suggest that those are two separate groups, which I don't think is what this page is trying to perceive here. Shaving heads and beards began a lot earlier than one might think. The early men from the Stone Age used sharpened clamshells and tweezers to shave or pluck out hair. Jeez. In ancient Roman Egypt, shaving heads was common amongst priests and also the common folk due to extremely hot climates. Why just priests and the common folk then? Like, did the pharaohs not? Because they did in the movie that was made. I don't know. Anyway, Egyptians are said to have developed shaving tools made of gold and copper. In the late 1950s, shaved heads started becoming a trend. Bald men were seen as more virile? Okay. Confident, tough, and disciplined. Many actors, politicians, musicians, and sports stars adopted the bald look. In the 1990s, the shaved head style was at its peak, with people like Michael Jordan, Evander Holyfield, and Bruce Willis further popularizing the trend. Our ancestors from the Stone Age shaved their heads and beards using clamshells, 4000 BC. 27 AD, Roman priests, as part of rituals, shaved their heads using tools like Navacilla and pumice stones. 1950s, many celebrities go for the bald look. And 1980s, Thomas and Ruth Roy encouraged people to celebrate Be Bald and Be Free Day on October 14th. So the activities you can do are shaving your own head, organizing a fundraiser, and conducting webinars. Some of these are just like random all the time. Like it's just like, oh yeah, let's just have people over for dinner on this such and such day. So yes, conduct a webinar. That'll happen. Number 1, Egyptians used bizarre medications. Number 2, baldness is 80% hereditary. Number 3, athletes prefer to shave their heads. Checks out. 4, women find bald men attractive. 44% of women aged between 35 to 45 find bald men more attractive. Oh, the more you know. And 5, for anyone to notice you're balding, you must lose more than 50% of your scalp hairs. Jeez, that's quite a lot. All right, moving on to the Indian holiday of Maha Navami. This is like, we're 2 weeks into this podcast, and I feel like I've already covered so many different Indian holidays. It's crazy how many they seem to have. All of them are about like fighting demons so far. Oh, here we go. Yep. According to Hindu mythology, this was the day when the goddess Durga slew Mahishasura, the buffalo demon. But I feel like that's what I talked about yesterday. I don't know. Maybe she's just constantly killing this demon. I need to look this up. Here we go. Let's have some history. Mahishasura was a demon with extraordinary powers. However, the Asuras, demons, always lost their battle against the gods. Tired of constantly being defeated, Mahishasura pledged to change things. Sacrificing his sleep, food, and all comforts of life, he meditated on Brahma, the creator of the universe and all life, for many years. He, with unwavering devotion and focus, prayed to Brahma. Brahma was pleased. He appeared to Mahishasura and told him that he could ask for anything and his wish would be granted. So he asked for a boon that would make him invincible. Let no man or god be able to defeat me, he said. In his arrogance, he believed that no woman could even defeat him. Brahma granted him the boon. It was one of those classic, what is it? Witch King stuff. So that explains where that came from. Fun fact about this, of the no man being able to defeat me thing. I believe it's in the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's some ancient vampire, and it says that it can't be destroyed by any weapon made by a man. But they realize that that's only because the script was written, like, however many years ago that this vampire, like, was around for the first time. So she blows him up with a bazooka, because that wasn't a weapon that was created by man at that time. But now we have it, and I just think that that's a great way to do that. Right, where were we? The Mahishasura unleashed his reign of terror. Soon he captured the earth. Next he attacked the heavenly abode of Indira, the king of gods, and captured it too. All the powerful weapons that the gods hurled at him were futile, and he seemed to be invincible, and the gods were helpless. All eyes were then turned towards goddess Parvati. She immediately took the avatar of Durga. Durga had 10 hands, fierce eyes, and gold ornaments. She looked beautiful and yet terrifying. Riding a lion, she charged into battle. Mahishasura was powerful and had the ability to shapeshift between the human and buffalo forms, and they fought for 9 days. On day 10, Durga pierced Mahishasura's heart with a spade and killed him. Okay, so this is probably like day 10 of like the different festivals that I've been reading about. Cool. Well, it's a good thing that I like read through all this right now, because otherwise that would have been confusing. And the saga was written in 1500 BC. Durga was worshipped back in 3300 BC. And this started to be celebrated in West Bengal back in 1600 AD. So there we go. It's also World Sight Day, which is observed on the second Thursday of October. It was initiated by the Lions Club's International Foundation during their Sight First campaign in an effort to spread awareness about preventable blindness and help people who are visually impaired. Man, the Lions Club used to have these little things kind of like for quarters or loonies or whatever in the mall, where you would like stick one in and then it would like swirl around in a kind of like funnel shaped thing. It was just a giant container of money by the end, but like for donations. But I don't know whatever happened to those, because I haven't seen them in forever. History of World Sight Day. In 1917, Melvin Jones established the Lions Club International, which was a service organization, organized a variety of projects across the globe, like fundraisers for typhoons and cyclone victims, diagnoses and management for people with hearing disorders, community hearing, and cancer screening projects. 1916 was when it was originated. 1917 is when the LCI went international. 1990 is when the first Sight First campaign was initiated. And 2000 is when World Sight Day is observed. And on to World Standards Day. Celebrated on October 14th every year, it raises awareness about the need for the global standardization of products and its importance to the world economy. Okay, on this day, members of the International Electrotechnical Commission, there we go, the International Telecommunication Union, and the International Standards Organization pay tribute to the concerted, yes. This podcast definitely is helping me with my reading, or helping me realize that I'm bad at reading, I guess. It's a better way to put that. Concerted efforts of thousands of experts around the globe who formulate the Voluntary Technical Agreement, an agreement among countries, institutes, and people as to what a product or process is, what it should look like, and what it should do or accomplish, published as the international standards. In 1946, delegates from 25 countries meet in London to discuss creating an international organization focused on fostering world standardization. 1947 is when the international organization was created, or like the standardization was created. 1970 was the first World Standards Day, so we've been celebrating this one for quite a while now, 50 years. And the transition from technical to process standards happened in the 1980s. Let's see what 5 important facts. ISA, a precursor of ISO, the organization that metamorphosed into ISO, started in 1926 as the International Federation of the National Standardization Association. So that would really have been like IFNSA, but they just called it ISA, which is much easier. The name is borrowed from Greek. The name ISO is also derived from the Greek word isos, meaning equal. ISO's large membership they have members from 165 countries and more than 3,000 technical bodies responsible for developing the standards. They have their headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, and as an independent non-governmental membership organization, ISO stands as the world's largest developer of voluntary standards. There we go. And finally, on to National Dessert Day. Let them eat cake. This popular French saying holds true, especially on this day, aka National Dessert Day. Calories don't count today, so make sure to pick up that box of donuts you've been thinking about all week. Cash in those kale salad points and reward yourself with a warm sugary glaze. You've earned it. I love that. And then there's other like holidays that it shows, which are National Cinnamon Roll Day, which happened back on October 4th, National Cake Day, which will be on November 26th, National Cupcake Day, which is on December 15th, and yeah, let's look at some history here. The term desserts originates from the French word desservir, which translates to the action to clear the table. This is because dessert is served after a main meal's dishes have been cleared. However, the sweetness of desserts has existed long before there was a proper title for it. As an act of worship, ancient civilizations would offer dried fruits and honey to their gods. In ancient Greece, a special sweetbread was made with nuts and honey to make an almost cake-like dish called plakous. It is believed that ancient Greeks may have also invented pie, as Aristophanes mentions sweetmeats and pastries filled with fruit in his plays. Oh, well, there you go. 1381. Though the common metaphor is used to describe the highlights of American culture, the first written recipe for apple pie came from England. 1645. French pastry apprentice Claudius Gale, or Gelly, maybe, accidentally invented puff pastries after adding too much butter to his bread dough. Oh, I love how many like desserts and stuff were just created accidentally. 1700s, Protestant settlers in Pennsylvania created the sugar cookies we know and love today. Okay, so on to my little facts about this. First off, pancakes back in the day, or maybe I guess waffles, kind of, there was something that was kind of like them back in the day. And they'd use basically, it was kind of like filling batter up in like, kind of think like a waffle iron, I guess, to cook over a fire. And they would just imprint different things onto it, and usually it was like religious things, so there was a lot of biblical stuff, and so you could just like wake up in the morning, go down for breakfast, and just have a nice crucified Jesus on your breakfast. And when I found out about that, I was just very concerned. Like, that feels like quite the weird way to start your day. But I mean, hey, I guess you'd at least like remember about that sort of the day, thinking about your religion, but still having a crucified man on your pancake seems a bit odd. Number 2, I guess this is kind of more like a snack than a dessert, but donuts, because it actually mentioned donuts in this, so I might as well talk about it too. They, like, Tim Hortons is like the main donut manufacturer kind of thing in Canada here, but apparently Tim Hortons actually stole the idea from this other guy who like came up with it first, and then Tim Hortons just kind of like copied his recipe or whatever, and then made millions, and this other guy has been forgotten so much that I don't remember his name. So there you go. Sadness. This isn't really, well, okay, yeah, let's go with a tip. So there's 3 things to make like cakes that you're using, I guess, like store-bought recipes for, or I guess even if you're just doing it on your own. But like listening to recipes, to make it even better, you add an extra egg, you use milk instead of water, and I feel like there's one more thing that I'm forgetting, but like those 2 things at least will make the cake like a lot more moist and just taste way better. What if the third one is just like adding more sugar, because that feels like a way to make the dessert sweeter. Yeah. So those 2 things, and there's a third that I can't remember, but I'll share it on another day if I do recall it. And finally, I just wanted to talk about what is in the thumbnail, which are Betty Crocker cookie brownies. That was like my go-to dish to bring to social events. You basically just make a pan of brownies and then pour the cookie dough stuff over top of it and cook it up, and then it just becomes this amazing dessert, and it's spectacular. I have, however, gotten to a point where I'm a little bit sick of them because of how much I've eaten them in the past. So yeah, I guess I'll just go on to eating cookies, because I have, what was it, like 6,000 more cookies to go to meet the average amount of cookies that people eat in their lifetime. Oh boy. All right. With that being said, we are going to go on to celebrity birthdays. First off, we got Rowan Blanchard, 20, American actress from Girl Meets World. She was apparently in Spy Kids, All the Time in the World. Is that like the newest Spy Kids? I don't remember that one. Invisible Sister, and she's in the Snowpiercer show. Jelly, also known as Jel van Vught, 25, a YouTuber who looks like Minecraft and Roblox videos. And Pico Park. That's a fun and traumatizing game. If you thought that Monopoly ruins friendships, you should play Pico Park, and then you'll truly have no friends afterwards. George Floyd was also born this day. He passed away last year after being murdered by a police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, during an arrest after a store clerk suspected him for perhaps using a counterfeit $20 bill. So he was born back in 1973 and passed away last year in 2020. Then we have Usher, 43. He has songs like Yeah, My Boo, and Sesame Street, Usher's ABC song. I don't know why these are the three Google has chosen, but I'm content to not look up any more of them. So let's move on to the fact that he's been in some movies and TV shows like She's All That, The Voice, Hustlers, and In the Mix. And then lastly, we have Captain Nintendo Dude, who's 24, and by his name you can probably have guessed it that he is a YouTuber who talks about Nintendo stuff. Also, one of Google's search results for him was Captain Nintendo Dude Drugs, so wonder what that's about. Onto some random Wikipedia stuff. 1322. There we go. Robert the Bruce. That's a fun name. So he is a Bruce. He's not named Bruce. He's a Bruce. Robert the Bruce of Scotland defeats King Edward II of England at the Battle of Old Byland, forcing Edward to accept Scotland's independence. 1773, the first recorded Ministry of Education, the Commission of National Education, is formed in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And in 1908, the Chicago Cubs defeat the Detroit Tigers 2-0, clinching the 1908 World Series. This would be their last win until the 2016 World Series. Okay, so this is 2-0. There was one from like a few days ago that we talked about. Don't remember what sport it was though, where it was like 200-0. Okay, I'm guessing that was like American football then, because it definitely wouldn't be a soccer thing, and I don't think you could do that in baseball either. So it's probably football, or maybe perhaps it was basketball. Basketball, you get like points going up by threes, so that could have worked too. And on to our random birth for the day. We got 1959. Ad van den Hoek, a Dutch cyclist. In 1976, he finished last in the final of the Tour de France. Oh, why did they have to do him like that? Is there something good that he did? Oh, he carried the Lanterne Rouge. Ooh, I don't really know what that is, but it's a red lantern of sorts, I guess, judging by my small amount of French knowledge. But yeah, that's it for today. We made it, and I think I did this practically all in one take too, so that's pretty crazy. If you've noticed, I've started to just leave in all of my fumbles and bumbles because I got to get better somehow at just talking and stuff. So yeah, here we go. And so far I'm not doing too well at getting better at reading things. Gotta learn how to pronounce names and words in every single other language that exists, especially sign language, but you guys can't see that when I do that. That was a callback to like episode 1, I think. So yeah. Stay safe, stay sweet, and as always, you'll be hearing back from me tomorrow.